Cisco instructor Andre here, and today's video topic is going to be how to modify the IPv4 standard access control list. It's the same as an extended, however, I'm only looking at standard access control lists in this video. I also just want to say that access control lists notoriously give students problems and they're difficult. And really the only way to get good at them is to do a lot of practice, and practicing in Packet Tracer is a really good way to start. And so I'm going to actually be doing some in Packet Tracer so that you can see me, and I'll see if I can also kind of give my thought process behind it to help you. It's a good idea to use a text editor when you're going to be modifying an access control list. There could be several reasons that you need to modify one. Maybe you're denying a network and you want to now allow that network. Maybe you want to keep that network denied, but you want to allow one host to go through. So there's a couple different reasons why you may need to do this. Again, remember one of the things I said in an earlier video is you want to write out all your access control lists and probably put it on a non-production lab, or maybe several companies will have just like a lab set up in their company with production equipment so that they can trial things. So one method is to use a text editor. The other way is to use sequence numbers. Now, I prefer the sequence numbers, but I still use a text editor even with the sequence numbers. So let's take a look here. I'm going to start by writing an access control list. So what I want to do is I want to prevent PC4 from being able to get to the HTTP server. However, I want the rest of the network to be able to get to the HTTP server. So if we look here, I can do a ping just to show that it's working right now. So we can get to the HTTP server, PC4, over to the HTTP server. I could also, let's test this one as well. So let's do PC5 and ping to the server. So we're good, right? All right, let's go into R3, and we'll type in, get into global mode, and we're going to do a numbered standard access control list. Let's do number 5. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put a really clear remark of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to deny, and again, I'm going to make it really clear, PC4 host 192. By putting in a really clear remark, it will actually help me write the access control list. From HTTP server on network 192.168.31.024. Allow all others. I might have gone over too many. Let's see. Oh, it allowed it. Okay, so there, it's really, really clear what we're doing. Now I'm going to write access list 5, deny host, right? Because I just want to deny this one host, 192.168.30.12. And since I used the keyword host, I don't need to use the wildcard mask. Okay, so let's see what happens. If I go here into PC4, oh, it's still working. Why is it working? The reason it's still working is because, if you remember, we need to apply it to an interface. We haven't applied it to an interface. Okay, so let's go ahead and I will apply it to the interface. So we're going to go into interface G01, and I'm going to do IP access group 5. And where do I want to apply it? I want it to look at it on the way out, right? Out. So let's see what happens now. Aha, our access control list worked. Something else I want you to see is what happens when I come over here, because remember, we only want to deny this one host. I do not want to deny the rest of the network. So do you think when I do the ping test here, will this work or will it fail? I hope you answered fail. Now the next question is, why did it fail? Why did it fail? Well, if you remember, whenever we add any access control list, it will put the implicit deny in there. So what do I need to add in order to allow the rest of the network? What I need to do is I need to get back into access list 5, and I need to do a permit any so that the rest of them can be permitted. So now with this in here, what do you think? Will this device be able to ping through to our HTTP server? We should be able to. Yep, we were able to. Now, what would be the last step as a best practice? Another good practice would just be access list 5, deny any. Now, it's super, super important that you put these in the right order, because if I had done the deny any before the permit any, the way that the access control logic works is it goes down the list, and it would have seen the deny first, and so it would have denied everything before it ever saw the permit. So if we do a show access list, if we see here, we want to have this in the right order. Deny host, right? And look, there are 4 matches right there. And if we do it again, now we've got the 8 matches because it's denied it again. So every time I send a ping out, the counter is going to go up. Okay, now look, we did a permit, right? Now why is it going up incrementally, right? So we went from 4 matches to 8 matches. Well, the reason is because of the TCP handshake. Remember, this is making the connection first, right? Before the ping goes out, and it's got to come back. So a message goes out and a message comes back. So that's why we see this. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to use this text editor to modify our access list. So first of all, let's do a show run pipe section access list. Okay, and so there's our access list. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here into my text editor. Okay, paste. So here it is. And now let's say that I want to change my security policy. And my new security policy is going to be to deny this host, 192.168.30.15, and to allow all of the other hosts to the HTTP server. So what I can do is, first of all, let's just do a config t, no access list 5. Show run section access list. Okay, so we don't have any access lists anymore, right? So what I can do here is I can, here's my new security policy. Now we want to deny host come over here and let's change this. So the remark, now we're going to be denying PC5, and that is number 15, right? So from the HTTP server, we're allowing all of the others. Access list 5 deny host. Remember, now we're going to allow this one and we're going to deny this one. So let's change this to a 15. I still want to permit everything else and then do my deny any to capture my implicit deny. Now I've made the changes, so I can just grab this and come in here and paste it right in there using my text editor. Exit, show run, section, access list. Okay, does that look right? That looks right. Let's test it. So this one should go through now instead of being blocked. And it is going through. That looks good. And what about over here? This one should be blocked. And now it is being blocked. Using this notepad is very similar to the way that we write our lab commands, right? So we're just basically using the notepad so that I can easily make changes to the access control list. This is especially effective if you don't have a lot of big changes to make. I'm going to show you how to modify or correct an access control list using sequence numbers. We are looking at a standard named access control list. And remember, with access control lists, we will be putting that closest to the destination within the parameters that we as the network administrator have control of. So in this scenario, here's our little network, and I want to assume that this is the portion that I have control over. So here is our company security policy. 1, PC1 from 192.168.10.10 should be denied out of this interface. Okay, so we don't want PC1 to be able to get out of its LAN. All other hosts on the network, right, so all of these other hosts on the LAN should be able to get out of the S00 interface. Policy number 3 is network 192.168.11.0, which is this LAN. It should be able to go out as well. So that's our security policy. Now I've already implemented the access control list here, and then I tested them, and I found that they're not working. So if I come here and I ping my 10.10.1.2, which is just allowing me to test, right? From PC1, it's going through. It's not being denied. So let's test another piece of this. Okay, that's working because it says all other hosts from this network should be able to get through. So that's working. We're good there. And the next policy is that this network should be able to get through. So let's take a look at this situation. Okay, it's being denied when it should get through. So that means we've got to go and figure out what is happening here. Why isn't this working? So I already did a little bit of work here, and I did the show access list. And the show access list is going to show me the sequence numbers, and the sequence numbers are always by tens, 20, 30, and it would keep going. So I can look here and do some troubleshooting. So the first thing that I noticed is this is a typo error. So if you see right here, this is deny host 19.168.10.10. Well, that's a problem because the network address is 192. So let's fix that first, okay? And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into global mode. And again, now we're using sequence numbers. So this is super handy. This is why this is my favorite way to do it. Access list standard. I'm going to go into my access control list. Now to correct this, this is sequence number 10. So I'm just going to type no 10. Okay, now let's take a look at do show access list. Let's take a look. So notice here, 10 is gone, right? It's gone. So now let's put it back in. And I'm going to put it back in as 10. So now I'm going to say 10 deny host, and I'm going to type it correct this time, 10.10. Okay, now let's do another do show IP access. Oh, do show access list. Okay, so now as you can see, here it is. Right, there is my correct. So now let's take a look. It is being denied, where if you remember originally it was being allowed. Okay, so this has been corrected. This LAN has been taken care of. Now, why isn't this going through? Well, let's go back here and take a look at our access control list and see if we can figure out why. Right, so let's look at this. So we're denying the host correctly. We're permitting this network correctly. Well, then we go to the deny any, which remember is significant because of the implicit deny. Every time I try to do this, I'm going to get another match. So see, we went from 8 to 16 matches. How do we fix this? Well, what we need to do is we need to either put a permit any in front of this or look back at our security policy. And our security policy says to allow this. So now, where do I need to put that allow statement? I need to make sure I do it in front of the deny any, right? Because if I do it after the deny any, it still won't work. So let me show you. If we did a 40 permit 192.168.11.0, 0.255. Okay, so I'm adding that. Now let's do our do show access list. So notice we have our deny, we're permitting, and then we have the deny any. So is this going to go through? Let's take a look. It doesn't. The reason it doesn't go through is because the interface looks in the order in which the sequence numbers are. So it denies that packet before it ever has a chance to get looked at because of the deny any. So let's fix this. I'm going to do no 40. So let's do a do show act. So it's gone. What do I need to do? I need to make sure that that allow statement, this permit statement, falls between 20 and 30. So I could do 25. Permit 192.168.11.0. Now let's do a show access list. Okay, if you see here, what do we have? Here it is. Now let's see if it will go through. Voila! Yay! See why I like the access numbers? It gives me a little bit more control. That is how you modify access control lists. That completes my tutorial on how to modify a standard access control list. My next tutorial will be how to secure VTY ports with standard access control lists. Thanks for watching.